It is Wednesday, August 16th, 2023, and today is our weekly cult meeting, Wizard Wednesday. Thank you, Give a Hoot, for that request line, for that song, for that intro song. Channeling in from the Quantum Downs, this is Black Goat of the Wood, Elf J Trul, and joining me is...
Dotta, hello.
Hello, Dotta, and where's our third wheel? Where is he?
He's gone fishing. Yeah, I don't
Gone
think he's
fishing.
today. But I got a substitute. I brought a substitute. I've got Catherine the Great here with me.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, so funny story. Do you remember, like, I don't even know how many years ago, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, how someone made a remake of the Monday Monday song? You know, it was like Monday Monday. Who made the video that was like the Wizard Wednesday video? Do anybody remember this song? Wizard Wednesday. Anybody remember this song?
Sounds familiar.
Okay,
but I have no
right?
idea.
But you've already forgotten it. But my kids have not forgotten it. My kids sing. They probably only heard it 2 times back when someone released it. Who made the Wizard Wednesday Monday Monday song? Somebody claim it in the chat. Anyway, Catherine the Great is here, and she asked if she could do the intro music for Wizard Wednesday by singing the Wizard Wednesday song. And just to be clear, I don't really encourage this. They just remember it and have never forgotten it. So if you would, I think we could let her do a secondary intro.
Yeah, Catherine the Great, please. The stage is all yours.
Okay, ready?
Wizard Wednesday, da, 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 so good to me, da, da, so Wizard Wednesday, it was all I hoped it would be. On Wednesday morning, Wizard's morning, Elf and Dotta guarantee that Wednesday evening we'd be thinking creatively. Every other day, every other day, every other day, every other day of the week is fine. And yeah, but when whenever Wednesday comes, you'll find wizards all of the time. Wizard Wednesday, ya da 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 da, so good to me, ya da 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 da. Wizard Wednesday, it was all I hoped it would be. On Wednesday morning, Wizards morning, Elf and Dotta guaranteed that Wednesday evening we'd be thinking creatively.
All right, thank you.
Wow! Amazing! I wish I had this. Oh, hold on, where's the soundboard? Yeah, there we go. Can you hear that? Okay, whatever.
We've got the Discord up.
So good.
Yeah, thank you everyone for your support in the Discord. She is seeing it, and it helps a lot. Yeah, so whoever has the original recording, maybe that can be outro music. But somehow that was like a one shot, one kill. My children heard it one time, and they haven't stopped singing it for the last 2 years. So now you get to hear it too.
Yeah, I think my favorite line is Wizard Wednesday, Elf and Dotta without fail. Or what's the line again?
Line?
Elf and Dotta guarantee.
Yeah. Damn, I do not remember that song.
Yeah.
Now that I've heard it. But it sounds amazing.
Well, someone's got to dig it up. I think it was a Moron Monday song. I think it was a Moron Global recording, so maybe somebody can dig it up.
At the very least, Dotta, you and your Partridge family should just record a new version.
I suppose so.
Yeah. Oh, so good. All right. All right. Well, yeah, we've got Bear's gone today, but we've got a few things to talk about. Just some updates, cult questions, cult content. So I think I want to start with just the Ledger update. I know that it's basically taken forever. We at Magic Machine never would have imagined it would have taken this long. One of the big problems was the manufacturing. They printed a version where like a big chunk of the drawing was missing. And you cannot imagine the consternation this caused at Magic Machine, where we just like debated endlessly. Should we ship it with the misprint, or should we like push production for another few months and get the art perfect? And it was just like a lose-lose situation. But I think we found a solution, right, Dotta?
Yeah, I think so. We went back to Ledger and they said that they would reprint them, and so that's what we're going to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and well, and like we thought the reprint would take months, but they said it would only take like 2 weeks, right?
That's great. That's good
Yeah,
news. Yeah.
yeah. So let's hope that the reprint has no mistakes. But fingers crossed, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, so the reprint should take another 2 weeks. We'll see what it looks like. Hopefully, it's good, and then hopefully they'll be ready to ship. It was just one of those things where like it was a mistake that I certainly noticed, but then Dotta was like, "Nah, nobody will notice," and I don't know, but I think it's resolved. So anyway, that's Ledger.
Yep.
3D. So we've got a new partner. I don't know if it's necessarily finalized, but I think we can announce it. There's a project called Vipe.io. And they're building a big 3D experience, and they've invited wizards to come in. So that's coming. I guess we'll make a more official tweet when it's like totally solid. But I guess the biggest reason I'm saying it now is just like just every day that goes by, we're talking with more and more 3D partners. And I just think like as the metaverse and 3D NFTs get built out, we're just going to see more and more of these. Obviously, Nifty Island is a really big one that's coming up. And we always talk about like what it means to speed run a franchise, and a really big mechanism towards that speed run is this idea of community owned IP. Instead of one company owning the IP and then being responsible for its distribution, you've got an entire community that can assist in that. And so that's one thing, but then I'm suddenly realizing that metaverse interoperability is also a speed run mechanism. And we posted that 3D video today, and the Nifty Island guys posted a really funny GIF of a wizard like doing the mind blown gesture. And it's just like, every project that we interoperate with is just yet another node on the network effect. And so these two things combined together, metaverse interoperability and community owned IP, it's just such a strong speedrun mechanism. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, me too. I think really like I want to make sure that we take our 3D models and we make them shareable in really every medium that we think someone might build on it, right? So we talk about this that we've added like Blender files, VRM files. I think that I don't know if we're committing to it, but I think that there's maybe some progress to get it the models in other like software that you can use for like motion tracking and motion capture. And then I also want to be able to put together like asset packs. So that way, even maybe game developers who aren't really like looking for Forgotten Runes will see that there are these models that they could use and then build games and build on top of it. So this idea that we build out these tools is such a powerful one.
Matto, I'm glad you came up. I was
Hey.
actually going to have you tell us about the 3D model you've been building. It's so beautiful. It's got like cloth simulation and facial expressions.
Oh yeah, that one. So that one I commissioned like. Video games for like I think like 10 years or so. They have it on their site. They're like a small Japanese indie studio. So had them for like a long time before the 3D models were even really like the current iterations of the models were even being previewed. But I wanted to have like different models to like play with anyway, because I knew that the one that we were gonna have was gonna be built for like with the general wizards, and I was gonna have one also that's a bit more personalized. And I think it's coming out. It's definitely coming out like a way above and beyond what I like. They really put like they had so much fun making it. So for background, I've commissioned them before for artwork. They're like a small NFT group, and I was like one of their first buyers because I'm like, 'cause this was back like way before like anybody even had any eyes on Japanese NFTs, and I'm like searching. I found like a small studio was really great, so they really like they already knew Magus Devon beforehand, and they were really like they were communicating with me for like maybe a year before I had this commission. So it was really great. They really understood exactly what I was going for. They knew all the source material because they were constantly like following my content and liking whenever they see like new Magus Devon artwork, whatever. So when I commissioned them, they were like really excited about it. So I'm really happy with how it came out. I can tell that they had a lot of fun with it. And they put a lot of love into it, and it looked great. I love how it's coming out. I think I'm gonna have more releases for it, and then the plan is that we're gonna like they want to distribute it so that way other people can play it too. I'm perfectly fine with that, cool as well. So I mean, I'll probably post updates when that's out, and they plan on having the VRM model as and even if you don't want to play as like with the VRM model.
We lost him again. Can you hear him, Dotta? Dotta, did we lose you too?
Man, I'm over here talking and I'm muted. No, we
Okay.
didn't. I'm still here.
Okay.
We lost Matt.
Oh no!
I'm over here sharing the tweets and they look so good.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Are you still over here?
Yeah, there we go. Hey.
Hey, you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know where I got lost, but I was saying, yeah, so I've been working with them for quite some time. They already knew about Magus Devon, and they enjoyed it a lot, and I think they have plans for distributing it later. The VRM model to not only the VRM model as a playable model, but like it comes with so.
Sad. I think your connection is really bad.
Yeah, Matt, you keep cutting out. Regardless, whatever you're building, it's beautiful. I'm loving watching the progress on it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, maybe someday we will commission that studio to do a version of the whole collection like that.
Yep.
Maybe. Okay, yeah, so that's 3D. We're still continuing to build, just adding fun things to the website. And of course, as I've been saying, souls are in production, as are the beasts. So look out for those. And then Shadows is also still in production. I don't know, Dotta. We got some good news the other day from these people we're working with, but I don't know if you want to talk about that right now.
Yeah, we finally acquired the exotic sats that we were looking for. They're not inscribed yet. We'll tell them more of the details once they are. I think that like the mint situation on ordinals is probably like trailing ETH, which is to say it's like very, very slow right now, right? Like there's not a lot of projects minting out. So that's fine. The halvening for Bitcoin is in April of next year, right? And so seems to me that there's somewhere between now and then is probably a better time to mint than right now. But we'll have all those inscribed. Everyone will be able to see them and enjoy the artwork. And then like the mint is a little bit on hold for right now. So that's the Shadows. They should be on chain soon.
Yep. Okay, let's jump into cult questions. Sharon has the first question. She says, "Today is National Tell a Joke Day. Do you have any funny jokes?" You got any funny jokes?
Yeah, sure. Why can't Cucumber dogs perform magic?
I don't know.
Because they always end up in a pickle.
That's pretty good.
Your turn. Yeah.
I like how you gave a Runiverse flavor to the classic in a pickle joke.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, here's mine. It's really stupid. A skeleton wizard walks into a bar and orders wizard ale and a mop.
Oh man,
that's it. That's my joke.
That's it. That's a good joke. My daughter's friend told me a joke the other day. Wait, what was the joke? And it was like, did you know that if you spell apple with all A's, it's pronounced ah? That's the whole joke. That's
yeah, I
the
like
funniest
that one.
joke I've ever heard. Yeah,
that's pretty good. Okay, thanks, Sharon. Sharon, if you have a joke, please come up and share it with us, or anyone else. It is National Joke Day after all. Okay, Snoop Dogg is asking, why are the spells animated, but not the staffs. I think he's talking about on the website. Is there a technical difference? Yeah, honestly, Snoop Dogg, I didn't fully understand what you were asking because I was like, well, spells are just inherently animated and staves are inanimate objects. But then Maddow shared like a cool GIF animation of a spell or of a staff with like flames animated on it. And so it's like, yeah, I guess we could have done something like that. But I think maybe what you're asking, I think I understand what you're asking because you're asking if there's a technical difference. And yeah, there is. So like the staffs on the website are just made of polygons. They're just a full 3D model. And the spells are actually, they're basically animated GIFs. They're just two-dimensional images that I animated in After Effects. So, I mean, yeah, they're sort of inherently different things. We did consider like animating the spells fully in 3D, like with full animated geometry, but that would have been so difficult to do in 3JS. 3JS is just not a very user-friendly tool. I mean, how much of a nightmare would that have been, Dotta?
A lot. It'd be hard.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. So, yeah, basically the technical difference is the spells are just animated images and the staves are full three-dimensional models. Matto, do you have your hand up?
Yeah, I was gonna say, perhaps maybe like you can do something similar where you have kind of like a particle effects over the props, so that way they're animated similarly, but without actually animating the staff itself.
Yes, yeah. That's definitely an option.
Yeah, so you just have it kind of glow or like have like sparks or whatever.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I saw some people talking in Discord the other day about like adding a particle effect to the 5 out of 5 affinity wizards.
Yeah, that would be great too.
Oh, it's such a good idea, and I think we might do that. Yeah, we're still fixing a few bugs here and there on the website, but yeah, I mean, I think that could definitely be done. I really like that idea. Speaking of bugs, Thread is asking, are the typos in the collection permanent and unfixable? Dotta, do you want to answer that one?
Well, yes and no, right? Like, yes, whatever is on chain. So when we created the initial collection, we put them all on chain, and that's sort of like the ultimate provenance of all of the wizards, right? Is like, the whole Magic Machine team could disappear, and you can sort of always recreate your NFTs on chain via the data that's there, that is permanent and will last as long as Ethereum. On the other hand, one of the things that we left ourselves a door open for was being able to update the OpenSea metadata. I mean, I think there's plenty of debates around kind of like the idealistic nature of decentralization versus like the centralizing force of Magic Machine having that much control. Ultimately, we opted to be able to have upgradability, which we were able to use in this in this past week when we launched the 3D models, of course, right, where you're able to like look at the 2D version and the 3D version. We also updated it when we added affinities to OpenSea a few months ago. And then we also did a retcon early on where, for example, the unicorn horn was labeled a Venus flytrap. And so the answer, I guess, is in another sense, no, it's not unfixable. It could be left alone, but curious to know which ones you see that you want to change. Because I think that, like, misprinted baseball cards, for example, people sometimes end up collecting or getting attached to maybe those little imperfections. And so those would be things that we want to be sensitive to not changing, right? Sometimes the name is the name.
Yeah. I mean, there are certainly some typos that really irritate me. Like, I literally just discovered a week ago that Claire Silver's wizard is misspelled. It's Claire Sliver, and I'm just so embarrassed about it, to be honest.
So, it's okay. That's her wizard name.
Yeah. It is embarrassing that it's not what we meant, but on the other hand, it kind of works. It's sort of like dark and cool, and
it sounds like Slytherin, Claire Sliver.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. Yeah, and yeah, I mean that's just like Dotta said. Like sometimes the misprints have like cultural and mimetic meaning to them. So, but yeah, I mean I don't know. Thread. If there's like a glaring one that you think just looks straight up dumb and has no value, like let us know. I mean that goes for anyone really. Because yeah, we can fix them if we want to. Okay, Bridge had a question, and I'm not even sure if he meant this for Wizard Wednesday, but I'm going to throw it in anyway. Dota, and this is for you actually. Who would win in a fight between Chad Pepe and Gladiator Dota?
Ooh. Wait, this Chad Pepe thing is still loading for me. Why is it so slow? Oh, nice. Yeah, Chad Pepe, he really looks like he pumps iron, but I bet he can't breathe very well because it looks like he's really on the juice, right? Like I think that rare Chad Pepe is really like probably on trend, and he's not going to be able to breathe. Whereas like the Gladiator Dota is completely natty, and so I'm pretty sure he's going to have the stamina. The
I
Chad
believe
Pepe.
that.
Yeah,
I believe that. Yeah, that makes sense.
mm-hmm.
Okay, and then Spac is asking. Oh, this is actually. I'm actually excited for this question. Spac says, "Can we find out a bit more about the Goblin Town game? Will it be a seasonal event like Halloween or something else?" Dota, before you answer, I just want to quickly say, believe it or not, I for the first time tried a build of Goblin Town a few days ago, and it was really good. I'm actually really excited about it. I know it's taken a lot longer than pretty much everyone expected, but it looks great. It plays great. It's intuitive. It's not complicated. So I just want to say I'm excited about it. But yeah, to answer your question, Spac, yeah, Dota, you got any updates or will it be a seasonal event?
The Goblin Town game is in progress. Everyone is doing a super duper good job. The main folks programming that on the day in and day out, I think we can say is VMark and SPZ along with Sumis and their team. And then Niski and I kind of come in intermittently to sort of help when we can and when we should. So the game is in a playable state right now. I think one of the things that we're debating internally is if we have the motivation for the tokenomics right and ways that we can kind of sweeten the pot, right? Because you are playing this game that's on chain and you earn resources and you can get Screelings and Screeling bosses, which are these really cool NFTs that give you properties for battle within the game. And then you can build out your territory and you earn more resources. But, it's not lost on us that you'll be paying for every transaction on the game, which maybe it's only a few cents, but still, like, it kind of adds up over time. And so the big question is sort of like, why would I play this game for a long period of time? Like making sure all of those like economics are balanced appropriately and that it seems fun, right? Because especially when you have this kind of PvP on-chain game, you want to make it so that like you're always battling this thing where like if you're bigger and stronger, you should usually win, but not so much that like nobody new wants to join, right? You want to be able to have somebody new and join and feel like you're not going to get obliterated within the first 5 minutes. You want to feel like you can maybe join up on a team and stand a chance to hold your own ground. You want to make sure that you feel like you have a way that you can win, quote unquote, for whatever that means, and maybe have some sort of like um, that you'll be able to like harvest some sort of resources from the game that you find valuable. So making sure all of those things are balanced, especially in a world of like that's really antagonistic with regard. It's like very hostile because people are creating bots and people are creating like alternate accounts to try to like gang up. Balancing all those mechanics has been quite a process. So we basically have a draft that is playable. We've been playing it internally. And then we all kind of feel like it's missing a bit of salt, like it's missing a bit of flavor. There's like one missing piece, and we have a few ideas on how to replace it. I think in terms of like the event of it, it's not designed to be for Halloween and it's not designed to be seasonal. It's designed to be like this long-term running game. And so like that's every time we make it, like the goal is that it will run for a year or years, right? that said, I mean, I've been in crypto long enough. I don't think I've ever seen a game run for a year that's this like on-chain game that's like perfectly balanced out of the gate, and that like the economics are like so pure, handed on down from God, that it actually like runs for an entire year, right? So I don't actually know how long it will run for. Maybe it ends up running for 2 weeks and then blows up because crypto. And so, but we're trying to balance it. We're trying to put like switches and gauges within it to kind of like help self balance the economy, and we'll see how it goes.
Hell yeah. Okay, and then let's see. Wonder of the Morons. He's asking when Nosferatu 3D model.
Yeah.
It's totally modeled. It just needs textured and rigged. But I will put it at the front of the line because it is actually one of my favorite ones.
Nice.
He looks so good in 3D. Also, I just want to make an announcement. VMark is currently sitting in OnCyber on a couch all by himself.
Oh no.
So somebody go visit.
What's the OnCyber link again? I need to find it.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's see. And then Give a Hoot actually has a really good question. I know it's kind of something like I know Bear would want to weigh in on, but I also want to weigh in on it, so I'm just gonna put it in now. So Give a Hoot basically talks about how he's got a friend who works in entertainment, and the strike in Hollywood is sort of suggesting that his friend might be unemployed soon. And he says there's not much we can do, but curious to get an update on where we're at in this context, and is there anything we're doing to continue progress in the face of these challenges? Yeah, and so like Bear has certainly been making moves on the show, and so I'm not going to say anything about that right now. I'll just wait for him to get back. But what I will say is like, and I don't know, I can't remember. Maybe we talked about this a few weeks ago, but the entertainment industry is just going through a huge disruption. I don't think it's ever going to be the same again, largely due to AI, but there's a few other reasons. And it's just like the writers and the actors and basically just really the creators are getting screwed one way or another. And there's like these horror stories that you hear like where the studios want to scan actors and make a digital double of them, and then pay them a one-time fee, and then be able to use that digital double in perpetuity, and like never pay the actor again. And there's just like all kinds of ideas like that floating around. And the reason I want to talk and the reason I want to mention it is because I think like what we're doing at Forgotten Ruins is the antidote to that. It's like, like Hollywood should put that stuff on the blockchain. They should, if they want to scan the actor and make it a digital double, like make it an NFT, and then build a royalty system on chain to where every time they use it, the blockchain will check it and send a royalty. I mean, I just think like blockchain rails here could really just create a more equitable system for everybody. I mean, that's just one example, but this also extends to IP ownership, like and what we're doing, which is, anytime a character is used in one of these large media expressions, blockchain infrastructure will distribute a royalty. So it's going to be like a long and ugly fight in the entertainment industry for years, but I think what we're doing is sort of a silver lining.
Yeah, and and again, I can't talk to the show aspect, and that's not because it's dead. It's because there are things moving, and like just the whole situation has a lot of like negotiations that can't be talked about publicly until like ink is dry, which I realize is frustrating for everyone. So what I can speak to is just like singing Bearsnake's praises insofar as like, I get to share code and everyone gets to use it. Elf gets to paint art and everyone gets to see it and praise it. And Bear is, I mean, this literally like an artist in terms of like being able to work these things. Like he's pushing the show forward through his own like force of will and charisma, and
Yeah.
the stories of the things that are happening in the background like can't be told for a few years, right? Like
Yep.
we're writing them down or whatever so then we can tell them. And but basically what I can tell you is that like Bear has a way of like, I wouldn't even say that he like has connections, but he has like a way of like making connections and a way of like meeting with people and going to dinner and like taking people to meetings and going fishing with them and like and being able to just like put you at ease to understand a deal that like makes sense for everyone. You know, I think that he's really like the um, just such an ideal of being able to like find a creative solution that works for everyone and like gets moves everyone ahead. But it happens in all these ways that like he tells us, like we were on the phone the last like 2 or 3 days about like some of the meetings that he had, and it's like super duper exciting, really really promising, and then these moments where things look like they're going to fall apart, and then like Bear just kind of like rescues it like some sort of artist, and we can't talk about any of it because there are basically people on the other side of the table that like sort of need there has to just be confidentiality until the ink is dry. So those things will like progress. It's progressing. It's happening. But like, unfortunately, we only have unsatisfying updates to give other than just to know that Bearsnake is just incredible. Incredible. I couldn't do what he does.
Totally agree. Yeah. And just to like bring it back to Give a Hoot's question, like, yeah, the strike is certainly intermingling in all of this sort of political intrigue. But Bear is navigating these waters expertly. Um, okay, I think that's all the questions. I wanted to talk a little bit about this new crypto app that everybody has been having so much fun with lately, and that is Friend Tech. Um, I've got a lot to say about it. Dotta, I know you have a lot to say about it. If anybody else wants to talk about Friend Tech, come on up. But Dotta, do you want to start?
Yeah, well, sure. So okay, so I assume that many of you have like seen Friend Tech. I don't know how many people participated, right? I feel that like
Yeah, tell us like what it is first for anyone who doesn't know.
yeah, so Friend Tech is an app. It's a mobile app that you install from your web browser. So right out of the gate, that's really interesting because a lot of crypto apps have trouble getting into the App Store or like getting through the App Store approvers. And so one of the things, this is a technical detail, but one of the things that's changed is that mobile apps that you add like that have actually got a bit more sophisticated in recent years. And so you're able to sort of bypass the App Store in a way that's like safe enough for the apps on your phone. And so it's a mobile app, and the premise basically is that you connect with Twitter, and then your friends on the app have shares, right? So much like everyone, how they're like meme coins. You every it's a meme coin for everyone. Everybody has a meme coin that is based on their name. And so if I want to buy,
basically everybody has a token. You are a token, basically.
Yep. And so if I want to buy a share of Tanya, I can click on search up Tanya's name, and I can click buy. And then what do you get for owning a share? A couple of things. One is there's a chat room that you can only see if you own a share. And then the other part is, well, you can sell the share. So if people come after you and they bid the price up and then you decide you're not getting value out of it, you can sell the share and then the price goes down. And so it acts a lot like Uniswap insofar as there's an automatic pricing algorithm that like prices up and down depending on kind of the demand for the shares. So, well, that's really interesting. And that's it's a really, really interesting idea where what you can do is you can actually, I guess, invest in your friends and who you think will be popular. And then when you own that share, you get access to special content. And then when you're done with it, you can sell it back. So there's a lot of really interesting ideas here. Interrupt me at any time if you want. So
I just want to say like it's weird because it basically financializes your friends. You basically buy and sell your friends as if they're tokens. I mean, that's what the point of the app it is. And like, as sort of nightmarishly capitalistic as that sounds, it's really fun. and and so it introduces all these interesting social dynamics because like perfectly intermingling social dynamics and financial markets. And so it's like, it's like you're, there's like, for example, there's speculation. Like I could speculate on Bearsnake when he joins. Like, oh, maybe Bearsnake's gonna drop a really banger tweet this week, and that'll cause his share price to go up. So maybe I'm gonna speculate on that. Or maybe I think Bearsnake's gonna say something really stupid on Twitter, and I'm gonna sell before he does it. By the way, I love picking on Bear when he's not here.
He's here.
He's
here now.
That's what I meant. I mean when he's not up on stage to defend himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but the point is like just trading your.
Are you
friends.
talking shit on me?
I
I jump in for 1 second, and then all I hear is outside when Bear's posting something really stupid.
Hey, Bearsnake, how's Bearcoin going?
Bearcoin up only. Although I will never use a rocket emoji ever. Not financial advice.
I don't want to go to jail.
Not financial advice. Yeah. More to come. Bearcoin.
This is like like a WWE skit. It's World Wizarding Federation. He just comes out door like Vince McMahon comes out and
yeah.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so anyway, I just think it's interesting. Like you've basically financialized your friends. But yeah, go ahead, Dotta.
Well, and so one of the ways that you make money is when people buy and sell your shares, they actually take a fee. So they take a fee for the platform, and then you take a fee as like being the person who like runs this chat room, right? So the team I think has made something like $600,000 over the past like 5 days or week or something. I, Dotta, have made like 0.3 of an ETH, which is really not that much. Frankly, for how much I've been tweeting about it. But that's not really the point. So like, one of the things that I think with these kinds of apps is like, I think that it's really important to participate for myself, because like, as soon as you can read about it all you want, but like as soon as you play it, you start to realize all of these like little nuances of the behavior. So here's some of the nuances that I see. One, you really don't want to sell your friends' shares. So like I have shares in like, let's see, I have shares in Tanya, I have Arad, Matazuki, Magus Wazir, Sammy Kitty, Nard, Cosmic. And like, I bought a bunch of shares originally to be like, oh, I'm going to like sell once people buy. But like, it feels a little bad when people buy your shares or when people sell your shares. And so it's like, now I don't want to dump on my friends for one. And so that's really sticky. That's very interesting. There's this like emotional, attachment to kind of,
No, totally. It's like just like the perfect mixing of social dynamics and financial dynamics is just like a whole new thing. It's just like a totally different market psychology when you're trading your friends. And yeah, I just want to quickly say before you go on, Dotta, I think the only person I saw sell my shares is Juan Snow. So Juan, you can consider this the end of our friendship. Just put that out there.
I thought that Dotta's shares. I saw like Dotta's list of people who had him, and I thought that his shares were gonna go down like right after like he put his dropout, because I saw a couple of names that I didn't recognize. I'm like, okay, these may be like tourists that are just kind of like buying into the hype, and maybe it'll dump after. And I'm like, I bought the Pico Dotta top. So like I'm gonna get out now, and then like I'll wait maybe like $30 less and buy back in, and then it stood pretty stable. Dotta's like a stable coin right now, like the point that I got out. So
oh man, yeah, yes. I made it to the leaderboard, to the bottom of the leaderboard for like one day, and then Juan Snow dumped my Dotta coin. That's perfect.
Damn it, Juan.
Yeah, no hard feelings. Just kidding. But I do think that like one of the reasons like it kind of just feels like a way to show your friend support, right? That like that you're like, I talk about this Kantian idea that like friendship is somebody who's like adopts, like if I adopt like your ends as my own, right? That's friendship. Like friendship is seeing someone else's success as your own success. And so there's a little bit of this like Like you're doing your part to make your friend a little bit like more successful. And I think, whatever, not that Friends app is the definition of friendship, right? Like I will probably at some point sell all my shares just because if the app dies or whatever, fine. But like, I'm just trying to point out that less about like this specific app and like some of the intricate mechanics that you get from like participating. I think another thing is that I think that the bonding curve is way too high. So in this app, when you buy more, the price goes up, and when you sell, the price goes down. And the curve is actually too steep. Even the like biggest accounts, which are things like Kobe, I think he only has like I don't even think he has 200 holders, and the price is over an ETH, and it's just way too much. And so I think that's one thing I'd love to see in a V2 is this idea that you could make the curve be a lot shallower, meaning like you could have like 500 people and then the price is still only like 0.05 of an ETH or something. So that's for sure something that I'd want to see changed.
Yeah, the core concept is so good. It's so much fun. But yeah, the app itself is so buggy. There's a ton of features I want to see. Like what I'm noticing is like we all like inherently name our coins. Like I just called Bear's Bear coin. I call mine Elf coin, but you can't name it in the app. I would love to be able to name my token in the app.
Yeah.
But yeah, and just I don't know, like the general UI in the app I think is not great. But yeah, what a great idea.
Yeah. So one of the things that I did, so I'm a little competitive. Like when I see a leaderboard and everyone in crypto is talking about it, then I'm like, oh, I want to be there. Like if there's a leaderboard of something new, it's like I want Dota's face to be up there, right? I mean, I think that kind of drives why I was like a little bit early to ordinals and like I upload my own face. Is like I'm basically like trying to get the brand there. It's like if everyone's attention is in one area, then what I'm trying to do is like get Forgotten Runes or Dota like in there, so that way it can like help the project, and so and also just because I'm competitive, and so one of the ideas of why I was like okay, nobody is doing jack with friends. It's just literally like influencers. Like, is there a way that we could actually like incentivize people to buy Dota coin? And again, not so much because I think there's a risk there. Like I for sure don't ever want anyone listening to like go buy Dota shares because like I think that you'll get dumped on. That's what I've been telling people the whole time. Like even before I did the snapshot, I was like, by the way, the second I announce this snapshot, just so you know, everyone's going to sell and the coin is going to dump and you're going to lose money. And like, I'm not promising that these Dota cards are going to be worth anything. And so trying to warn people of the dangers. That said, it's not that easy to get set up and get money over to base and then buy those shares. So I think everybody who's there basically understands.
I think they actually updated it so you can send from mainnet. So if anybody has any issues, I think you can still send from your mainnet address to it, and then it'll just do like I guess the bridging backend for you or whatever.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool. That's amazing.
I think they just pushed that out like today, so I may be incorrect, but I'm pretty sure I saw a screenshot of it that they're doing for mainnet.
For them to do that, they must. There's a whole other question around like I think the keys are custodial, that they have your private keys. Right? Like how else are they doing that?
Yeah, I wouldn't know. Actually, that's a good question.
All that to say is I was just trying to be like, okay, let's test this out. Like, is this like what's here, right? And I think that I immediately noticed when I was trying to build these Dota cards that I wanted to share previews that were just for my holders, and you can't upload images. I think that the ability of having images in this app would be. I think that if they add images, there'll be an explosion, right? Like, I mean, clearly there is a market for like adult content, which is not something I'd be participating in, but you can see that that would work. But even more than that, I think even for NFTs, right? Especially if I could like. What I would love to be able to do is to upload my Dota cards straight into this app and then just mint it and give it to holders, right? Instead of having to do all that. Hello, Guy. Guy, you have been a long time Dota shares holder. Hello.
Yeah, hey, how you going? Oh, yeah, I'm also an early adopter to these like interesting experiments in crypto. I just want to jump up just to clarify one thing about the custodial, non-custodial nature of what this app is, because I think you guys haven't mentioned that side of the tech yet, and to me, that's a really interesting thing of what's going on here with this app. It's not just the crypto dynamics and the social dynamics. There's also interface edges being pushed. So just to be clear, no one else other than your phone and the app itself has your private key in this. Like the private key doesn't leave your phone. It's embedded in the app and it's generated in there. You can export the private key as well if you want to use a normal wallet. So it's not like they're abstracted from you. They are abstracted from you. That's kind of the point. But it's not like that you're giving it up to someone else. So there is some interesting stuff that can happen to really smooth that experience of using a crypto wallet, where they can basically take over the UI, not have to use a MetaMask or try and talk new users into it. They can make it part of the app itself with still some sort of protections in place. It's obviously not as good as like a full stack crypto setup where you've got like an external hardware wallet or whatever, but it's not meant to be that either. It's meant to be easy and tappy and fun and stuff to use. So I think that's an interesting spot to explore for apps. I mean, for like projects like Forgotten Runes, which are looking for like, okay, how do we not just get the hardcore crypto people, but make it an easy, fun, integrated experience?
Yeah, I am like obsessed with this idea of these kinds of like mobile apps that are crypto apps, and like what the opportunities that this opens up, right? Like part of my obsession over the last few days with friend tech is not because I like care about friend tech as such, but the model that it opens up, which I totally agree with what you're saying. I want to talk about the custodial thing because I have a question, but go ahead, Matt. I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Oh yeah, so I just found the tweet and looked into it, and it looks like what it is like an in-app bridge. So I think what happens is you go to like the bridge section of their site, and it gives you a different address than the custodial address, and I think you send it to that address, and they'll do the bridging in the background for you. I think that's how they do it. So they don't. So they still don't. It doesn't seem like they have any access to your custodial address. They just generate some different one for you, and then do the bridging in the background.
So when I look on Twitter, a lot of people are saying like, "Oh, it's custodial," and then other people say it's not. That's misinformation. Here, let me give you a data point. I installed it on my phone and I logged in with my like Apple ID, and then I set it up on my computer. So like you're not like I basically use like a Chrome profile that like spoofs being an iOS device, and I logged in with my Apple ID, and it had my private key. And I have no idea how they did that other than it being custodial. Because like I didn't actually export the private key from my phone and then put it on my computer. There was some process along the way that like brought it over, and it made me really uncomfortable. I don't actually know how that works.
Yeah, I'll dig in. They didn't, that part of the stack in the app didn't use, like they didn't build that, right? They're using someone else's tooling and someone else's stack for that. I can't remember off the top of my head whose they did, but I'll look into it now and come back with some research and explain what's going on there. But I agree that it's not as like secure and not as sort of like there's some compromises there to make that a smooth experience to onboard with a phone number or an email account, an email address. But it's not as bad as you might think. I'll dig in and get you the details.
Okay, yeah, I would really like to know.
I think like this and Unibot, I think like the ideal scenario is like kind of treat it like a hot wallet, because like there's still uncertainty about like how it's actually secured. Even if they don't have like access to your keys, like maybe there's somewhere that their keys are hosted that we don't know about. So I think like the best course of action is just treat it as a hot wallet. Don't put too much into it. If you feel like it's getting uneasy with how much is into it, be sure to withdraw. They give you the option to withdraw at any time. So
it looks here, I'm looking on Twitter, and it looks like they're using a system called Privy.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, fun. Okay, that's exciting. I'm going to look into this.
And I also think it's interesting to note, like, it is going to make it much easier for other projects. Part of the beauty of the whole Web3 system is that, like, you can pick up these little pieces as a developer, not have to develop the full stack yourself, and plug them all in and actually come up with something that's reasonably usable and fairly straightforward as a user experience, with very little overhead, and it's like becomes part of an integrated bigger system. So I think it's very cool in that regard.
I have so many ideas and I have like no time. If I come up with a mobile social app, I need that's not Forgotten Runes branded. I need you all to not crucify me. We'll see.
Go for it, Dotta. Dotta, we have one more thing that we have to talk about before the show ends.
Yeah.
But I do love Friend Tech. I'll tell you what I love. Sometimes on Wizard Wednesday, we talk about very controversial topics like aliens.
We didn't even talk about the Malaysian flight verification of how it was abducted by aliens, but we'll have to get to that next week.
Right, we haven't talked about that. But Dotta and I had a friendly disagreement in Discord today. And I think Jitsi was in on this too. My position is that Quidditch, the game in the Harry Potter series, is basically bullshit. I think it's a broken game. And I think J.K. Rowling obviously doesn't know anything about game design or sports. And I would love to make a case for why I think that. But Dotta, just right off the bat, do you have a different position?
Yeah. My position is that I think that the idea of like the snitch being something where if you catch it, you win the whole game, it is like deeply true in this like literary sense, and there's like this deep literary truth there that's very interesting and worth looking at. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I think we're saying two different things. I'm just saying purely from a game design angle, the game is broken and dumb. You're saying that the game is designed such to serve just a story and like character development and advance a plot. Is that your position?
My position is something deeper than that, which would be like it's true because it represents something like deeply true about life, right? Okay, so you have so you have this game Quidditch, right? And if at a superficial level, this idea when you think about like that there's a PvP game going on where there's like you're scoring points, right? You're just trying to get like 1 point on the other team and people are focused on competing with each other. There's this like deep truth around the idea that like there's games inside of games, right? That there's actually like that everyone is kind of looking at one game and they're playing Quidditch like more generally, but that there's this like greater game that if you are like extremely talented and extremely focused, then you can like win, and then you win the bigger game, right? You win in this like ultimate sense. You see this with like sort of there's an asymmetric outcome that can come from playing a different game.
Okay, I think we're talking past each other because there is no other real life game that is designed like that. Why? Because it's a fundamentally broken mechanic.
Right. So but the value, it's not. There's lots of games that work like that. Maybe not a game
Name
like
one.
Soccer, but like the game like entrepreneurship, right? That like a lot of people get really focused on like copying their competitors, right? You think very PvP.
That's not a game though. You're just playing semantics now.
But the truth that I'm trying to get at is this like narrative truth that like NFT projects are a game, right? You're this game in this kind of
in a metaphorical way, but it's not like a game.
Oh, I'm like 100% metaphorical here.
Okay, yeah. So we are talking past each other. So yeah, I'm just talking like simple mechanics, like from a game design point of view. Quidditch is bullshit.
But part of the thing about like, okay, like in Quidditch, right, you win, you have this like winged ball, right? So this winged ball is, it kind of like represents this, the idea of a winged ball, actually, there's an idea that comes from like Jung's writings on like alchemy, where he associates this winged ball with chaos. And the idea is like, if you can tame this chaos, which is very, very difficult, then you win the whole game.
Dotta, I'm not arguing that Quidditch could be used as sort of a metaphor to describe like the conflict in life and character development. Sure. In fact, what you're saying actually bolsters my point, which is she's only using this as a storytelling device. She's not actually trying to design a real game that could be played in real life. In fact, people do play Quidditch in real life, but they've had to radically alter the rules as designed by J.K. Rowling just so that it actually functions in real life. And that's my point. As she's designed it, it does not work as an actual game. And so for me, when I read Quidditch scenes in the Harry Potter series, my willing suspension of disbelief is totally shattered, because the whole time I'm just like, this game is so stupid. It makes no sense. Like the
But I
snitch.
guess, but then you're thinking about it like a technician rather than
Yes.
sort of like the deeper meaning. I'm going to bring in some reinforcements. Hey, we've got Runecaster G here.
Hi.
Okay, Runecaster G, tell me about what happens. What's inside the snitch?
Well, inside the snitch is the resurrection stone. That can bring back like a ghost or a memory of loved ones that have passed away. But that was a Harry case. That was only for Harry.
What happens in the last book?
Well, the last book, snitches have flesh memories.
Okay.
Where they memorize the person who caught the snitch, so that it's complicated.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So they've got the flesh memories, and what they do is they like memorize the pattern of the person who caught them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how did Harry catch his?
He nearly swallowed it.
Yeah.
Never argue with a Harry Potter fan about the value of Quidditch.
No. Here's the thing, though. George, who do you agree with, me or TJ?
We're not even talking about the same thing. Yes, I'm analyzing it from a technical perspective.
Like as a real life game, Quidditch wouldn't do well in the real life.
Yeah, because it doesn't. People try to play it in real life and it doesn't work.
Yep. Yeah.
And so that's my only point. But if you want to have a totally separate conversation and make a separate point, I don't necessarily disagree with you. But my only point in the beginning was it doesn't work as a practical, real life mechanical game.
Yeah. The fine.
Okay, thank you.
They're on flying brooms. They're on flying brooms.
Yeah, but that ain't even the worst of it. That actually I don't mind at all. No, okay, I haven't even laid out my points of why it makes no sense. Obviously, the snitch makes no sense. It's worth 150 points, where the other ones are worth 10, I think. Number two, it's just like so. Therefore, all the other elements of the game, the bludgers, the quaffles, the goals, they're just totally pointless. They're meaningless. Like you might as well just not even have them. The whole game is simply catch the snitch. Three, the game is unbelievably violent. There is no other sport that is literally this violent. I mean, if people were playing snitch in real life, like if they actually had flying brooms, people would be dying constantly. It's just like the violence overbalance is just way off the charts. Four, the fact that Harry or anyone or any rich kid can buy a broom that's extremely overpowered compared to the other people is yet just another insane imbalance. There's no other sport where you can spend 10x on your equipment and literally benefit by 10x. I mean, football equipment is football equipment. Same for hockey or whatever else. Like equipment is equipment, more or less.
You should play Diablo.
Is that a real life game?
No, the joke on the Diablo pay to win mechanics. But
oh yeah, well yeah, pay to win is common in a lot of video games, but yeah, I mean, and people hate it. Like pay to win is ridiculous. And then yeah, finally, like I said, like people have tried to play Quidditch in real life. It doesn't work. You have to radically change the rules so that it does work. And so my point only is that the design the game design as presented by J.K. Rowling is broken. Yes, it has like literary value. Yes, it has like plot value, although I would say it actually distracts from the plot. It kind of makes me think of that Game of Thrones episode where Jon Snow takes a whole group into the north to find a White Walker, and they get stranded, and then they say, run back to the wall to send a raven 2,000 miles south, and then have Daenerys fly 2,000 miles back north, all in 12 hours. It's like when you start to just break the willing suspension of disbelief, it just breaks the entire story. And I feel like Quidditch kind of does that to an extent. But maybe I'm just a Harry Potter hater. I don't know. Anyway, that's my Quidditch rant.
All right.
Nothing else, Dotta?
Well, we're just about time. I think that like the literary like goals of Quidditch as they appear in Harry Potter are like the rhetorical goals are a lot like deeper than like trying to describe an actual game mechanic. So like fair enough, right? Like you can't play Quidditch. But I think that to say that the Quidditch aspect of the story is meaningless is not like looking deep enough into kind of like the meanings, right? Like this idea that like if you kind of tame the chaos of Quidditch and then you like acquire the snitch, that you like win this like deeper game, right? Instead of being focused on like the game that everyone else seems to be playing, that you focus on this deeper game that gives you like a way bigger winning condition. Like that is a deep truth about life that is like worth thinking about. That like the people get caught up too much in competing with each other rather than like going for like the ultimate goal, because the ultimate goal is typically a lot harder. And you can go farther and look at this idea that like, okay, within Harry Potter's snitch was like a resurrection stone, and right, this resurrection stone brings back the spirits of the people that died, right? And so and and this idea that kind of like if you can tame the chaos and and overcome to win the metagame, that now you can kind of bring back or like take care of those around you, right? Like take care of like the your family and the people who care about you, and sort of like rescue them also from the underworld. These are like very deep ideas, and like that's part of why Harry Potter works. So I wouldn't say that the Quidditch scenes are meaningless, but rather like, but certainly the meanings aren't like on the surface, but they work for you, and you know that like intuitively, because you know that those truths are very deep.
I totally see what you're saying. That is a fair analysis of Quidditch. And that's the end of Wizard Wednesday.
All right.
Dotta,
Wizard Wednesday.
do you I was gonna ask, do you want to? Okay. Sing us out.
Sing it too.
Wizard Wednesday, da 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 da, so good to me, da 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 da. Wizard Wednesday, it was all I hoped it would be. On Wednesday morning, Wizard's morning, Elf and Dotta guarantee that Wednesday evening we'll be thinking creatively. Every other day, every other day, every other day, every other day of the week is fine. Yeah! But whenever Wednesday comes, we'll find wizards all of the time. Wizard Wednesday. Da 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 da. So good to me. Da 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 da. Wizard Wednesday. It was all I hoped it would be. On Wednesday morning, Wizards morning, Elf and Dotta guarantee that Wednesday evening we'd be thinking creatively.
All right.
Dotta, we need to get you and your family into a sound booth ASAP.
I guess so.
This has been Elf, Dotta, No Bear, Matatsuki, Catherine the Great,
Runecaster G,
and Elf and Dotta Guarantee. Channeling out from the Quantum Downs. DN, everybody.
Bye.